Most men never realize this, and it costs them more opportunities than they'll ever know. She won't tell you she wants you. Not directly, not clearly, and definitely not in a way that makes it easy. But here's the part nobody warns you about. She will show you, in ways so subtle, so involuntary, that if you're not trained to see them, you'll miss them every single time. Why? Because female desire isn't designed to be obvious. It's designed to be deniable. A woman can feel intense attraction and still maintain the image of control, innocence, composure. That's the social mask. That's the game. But underneath that surface, her biology doesn't negotiate. It leaks. It betrays her. It reveals everything her words are trying to hide. So let me ask you something. How many times have you walked away from an interaction thinking nothing was there, while her body was quietly signaling the exact opposite? Here's the uncomfortable truth. While you're waiting for permission, another man, one who understands these signals, is already moving forward, because there are specific behavioral patterns, 7 of them, that only appear when a woman enters a state of heightened sexual receptivity. These are not random. They are not friendliness. They are not coincidence. They are biological responses, hardwired, automatic, and incredibly revealing. And once you understand the third one, you'll never look at your past interactions the same way again. In this video, we're stripping away the polite illusions and looking directly at the raw mechanics of desire, exactly as they are. Item 1, the tactile transfer. Most men completely miss this, not because it's hidden, but because they're looking in the wrong place. They're staring at her face, waiting for words, waiting for some obvious green light. It never comes, so shift your focus. Watch her hands, not when she's talking. That's performance, that's social, that's controlled. Watch them when she goes quiet, when she's listening to you. That's when the mask slips. In a neutral state, her hands are still, purposeful. They hold things, move things, rest, nothing more. But when attraction kicks in, something changes. You'll see it. A subtle restlessness, not chaotic, not nervous, controlled, but alive. Because now her body is flooded. Dopamine, oxytocin, norepinephrine, a chemical storm she didn't consciously ask for, and her hands start searching. Not for you, not yet. That would be too obvious, too risky, too exposed. So her brain does something clever. It redirects the urge. You'll see her holding a glass, but she's not holding it. She's stroking it, slowly, repeatedly, up and down, like she's feeling the texture, or she traces the rim of a cup, over and over, like she's hypnotized by the motion. I remember sitting across from a woman once mid-conversation. She stopped talking for a second and just ran her finger around the edge of her glass again and again while looking straight at me. She had no idea she was doing it. That's the key. This isn't performance. This isn't flirting she learned from a magazine. This is leakage. You'll see it in the small things. A necklace rolling through her fingers, a ring twisting slowly, her hand sliding over her own thigh, not absent-mindedly, but deliberately, like she's feeling something. And here's where most men get it wrong. They label it as fidgeting. It's not. Fidgeting is sharp, broken, anxious. This is smooth, rhythmic, almost hypnotic. Different energy entirely. What you're watching is her body rehearsing touch. She's imagining sensation, texture, warmth. And if she's doing that while locked into you, she's not thinking about the story you're telling. She's thinking about what you'd feel like. Let that sink in. And still, most men keep talking, rambling, trying to impress. They're listening to her words about work, friends, routine, while her body is practically broadcasting a different conversation. So here's what you do. You don't call it out. Never break the frame. You don't say, "Why are you playing with your glass?" That kills it instantly. Pulls her back into her head, shuts everything down. Instead, you notice. You let your eyes drop briefly to her hands, then back to her eyes, just enough for her to feel it. Now she knows. You see her, without exposing her. That creates tension, that unspoken awareness. That's where the real game begins. You're not interrupting the current. You're letting it build. Item 2. The vascular flush. The biological rouge. This one, she can't fake it. And more importantly, she can't stop it. You can control your voice, your posture, your words, but you can't control your blood. And when her body flips that switch, it shows. Every time. Her nervous system triggers something automatic. Vasodilation. Blood vessels expand. Circulation increases. Not for beauty, for readiness. You'll see it first in the places that matter. Her chest, right above the neckline. A soft pink, slowly spreading, almost like heat under the skin. Then her neck, her ears, and her lips. They change. Slightly fuller, slightly darker, more sensitive. You might see her lick them, or press them together, or bite them lightly. And most guys laugh this off like it's some cliché from a film. It's not. There's a reason behind it. Her lips actually heat up. The surface temperature rises. They dry out faster. So she licks them to cool them, to moisten them. But at the same time, she's drawing your attention there, unconsciously. I've seen it happen in real time. A woman goes from composed, neutral, to suddenly looking different, brighter, warmer, almost glowing, and nothing in the environment changed. That's not mood. That's biology taking over. And this is where men sabotage themselves. They point it out. Are you hot? Your face is red. The moment you say that, it's over. You've just dragged her out of instinct and back into self-awareness. Now she's analyzing herself, regulating, closing off. You turn desire into a problem. Never do that. You don't verbalize it. You read it and you adjust. Because if the flush is there, her defenses are already weakened. Her logical brain is taking a back seat. Her body is leading. That's your window. Your voice slows down, drops slightly. The conversation shifts away from surface-level nonsense into something more personal, more charged, less words, more presence. Because at that point, the door isn't locked anymore. And the biggest mistake you can make is standing there, politely knocking. Item 3, the exposure of the jugular. This is where it stops being cute signals and starts getting primal. Because you're not dealing with social behavior anymore. You're dealing with survival instincts, being overridden in real time. In the animal world, exposing the neck is not casual. It's not neutral. It's the difference between life and death. The jugular, the carotid. One bite, and it's over. So when an animal exposes its throat, it's either surrendering or trusting completely. Now think about that. Because women don't consciously think I'm going to expose my neck now, but their body knows exactly what it's doing. When she's closed off, defensive, unsure, her chin drops, shoulders tighten, neck disappears. She protects herself without even realizing it. You've seen it before. You've been in conversations where she felt distant, almost guarded, like something invisible was blocking you. That's her in defense mode. Now watch what happens when that flips. Her neck softens, her head tilts slightly to the side, her hair moves almost like it's being cleared out of the way, and suddenly there's a clean line from her ear down to her shoulder. Exposed, open, unprotected. I remember this one moment clearly. I was sitting across from a woman. Normal conversation. Nothing crazy. And then mid-sentence, she tilted her head, brushed her hair back, and just held it there for a second. Didn't say anything, just looked at me. That pause, that silence, that was louder than anything she could have said. Because what she was really communicating was this: I'm not defending myself from you anymore. And most men miss it. They keep talking. They stay in logic. They don't realize the entire dynamic just shifted. There's also another layer most guys never even consider: scent. When she exposes her neck, she's not just looking more feminine. She's opening up one of the most sensitive, reactive areas of her body. Heat, skin, pulse. She's letting you into her space without physically touching you. And then there's the detail that separates amateurs from men who actually understand what's happening. The hair sweep. If she lifts her hair, even briefly, exposing the side of her neck while looking at you, that's not random. That's a signal. She's showing you where attention should go. Same with the wrist. Watch her hands again. If her palms turn upward, wrists exposed, soft skin facing you, that's vulnerability. That's openness. That's invitation, without words. Now here's where you either kill the moment or you step into it. Most men panic internally. They feel something shift, but they don't trust themselves enough to act on it, so they ignore it. Or worse, they overcompensate with more talking. Don't slow down. Let your eyes move deliberately, from her eyes down to her neck. Pause there, not in a creepy way, in a controlled way, like you understand exactly what you're looking at. Then back to her eyes. That moment, right there, creates a reaction inside her. Her heart rate spikes. Her awareness sharpens. Because now, she knows you saw it, and you didn't break. That's power. That's how you touch someone without touching them. You're using the map she's giving you. Most men never even realize there is a map. Item 4. The pupillary abyss. This one is dangerous. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you lock into it, you feel it. People throw around the term bedroom eyes like it's some vague romantic idea. It's not. It's biological, precise. And when it happens, it changes the entire atmosphere between you. Here's what most men don't realize. When a woman looks at something she truly wants, her brain goes into acquisition mode. It wants more detail, more clarity, more of you. So her pupils expand, widen, darken, until the color of her eyes almost disappears. At the same time, her eyelids drop slightly, not fully, just enough to create that heavy, slow, almost hypnotic gaze. She's not tired, she's not bored, she's overwhelmed, in a good way. Her nervous system is shifting from control into sensation. I've had moments where everything else in the room just disappeared. Noise fades, people blur out, and it's just you and her, locked in this silent exchange. No words, just eye contact that feels heavier than it should. If you've experienced it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you've probably been in it and broke it without realizing, because it gets intense, too intense for most men. So what do? They look away, they check their phone, they laugh it off, they break eye contact right when it mattered most. And just like that, it's gone. Here's something you can test. If you're in a well-lit environment and her pupils are still large, that's not normal. Biology says they should contract. If they don't, it means what she's feeling is stronger than the environment itself. Think about that. Her internal state, overriding reality. Now here's the part nobody tells you. If you look into her eyes and they're dilated, yours will respond automatically. You start sinking, breathing, focus, tension. That's why prolonged eye contact can feel almost intoxicating. It's not just attraction, it's alignment. Two nervous systems locking into each other. So what do? You hold it. You don't flinch. You don't look around. You stay there, grounded, present, unshaken. Let the silence stretch. Let it get heavy, because she's studying you in that moment, feeling you, measuring you. And if you break, you fail the test. Watch her blinking, fast blinking. She's overwhelmed, pulling herself out of it. Slow blinking, relaxed, almost feline. She's comfortable. She's deep in it. That's not just attraction. That's trust mixed with desire. And if you can stay in that space without collapsing it, you're no longer just another guy she's talking to. You've become the experience she feels. Item 5. The pelvic echo. Gravitational alignment. This is where the truth stops hiding. Because the face The face is a professional liar. She can smile at things she doesn't find funny, nod when she's bored, maintain eye contact out of pure social conditioning. You've seen it. You've been in conversations where everything looked right, but something felt off. That's because you were reading the wrong part of her body. The real answer is lower, always. The hips don't perform. The pelvis doesn't care about politeness. It reveals priority. So stop obsessing over her eyes for a second and look at how her body is oriented. Because even when her attention seems divided, her hips will tell you exactly where her focus is anchored. She can turn her head to talk to someone else. She can laugh at a joke across the table. But if her hips stay locked onto you, you're the center. You're the gravity. I remember being in a crowded bar once. Noise, people everywhere, constant movement. She was talking to her friend, fully engaged, but her lower body never moved away from me. Not even slightly. That's not accidental. That's priority leaking through distraction. Now let's go deeper, because attraction doesn't just align, it opens. When she's guarded, she builds barriers. Crossed legs angled away from you, a bag placed between you, a drink held like a shield, everything positioned to create distance. You've felt that before too. That subtle wall you can't break through no matter what you say. Now watch what happens when that wall drops. Legs uncross, or they stay crossed, but now they point directly at you. That's not random, that's exposure. She's removing the barrier between her center and yours. And you need to understand how primitive that signal is. That's not she's comfortable, that's access. If she's standing, look for the shift. Weight on one leg, hip slightly pushed out, the other leg relaxed, almost careless. Maybe she's playing with the ground, tracing shapes without thinking. That posture, it's unstable. And that's the point. A person ready to leave doesn't break their balance. A person ready to fight stays grounded, but someone who wants to stay, they relax into asymmetry. They let themselves be seen, they let themselves be vulnerable, and at the same time, she's highlighting her shape, waist to hip, curve, fertility. It's all there, not announced, displayed. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable for most men. Because this is the moment where you get tested, without words. If you're sitting close to her, and your legs touch, what happens next tells you everything. Does she pull away instantly? Apologize? Reset distance? That's rejection. Clean. Simple. But if she leaves it there, just resting against you, like nothing happened, that's not an accident. That's a question. I've seen guys panic in that exact moment. They freeze. Or worse, they pull back slightly, pretending it meant nothing. And just like that, they fail. Because what she was doing was checking your response, establishing a circuit, heat against heat, presence against presence. So what do? Nothing dramatic, nothing forced. You don't chase it. You don't escalate aggressively. You become still, solid. You let her feel that you're not moving, that you're grounded. And if you apply pressure, it's minimal, controlled, just enough to confirm, I'm here, I felt that, I didn't flinch. That's all it takes. Because she's not looking for chaos. She's looking for stability she can lean into. Most men are too reactive, too uncertain, too eager. Be the wall. Let her come to you. Item 6. The acoustic drop, the vocal shift. Now we move into something most men completely overlook, sound. Because attraction doesn't just change how she moves, it changes how she exists in space. And you can hear it if you're paying attention. In a normal, friendly interaction, her voice sits higher, faster, lighter, controlled. It's the voice she uses with everyone. Safe, social, non-threatening. But when something shifts internally, her voice drops. Not dramatically, subtly, but enough. Slower, deeper, rougher around the edges. You'll hear it at the end of her sentences. That slight rasp, that softness creeping in. That's not an act. That's her nervous system relaxing, breathing deeper, dropping out of performance and into sensation. And here's where it gets interesting. Lower frequencies don't travel far. They're not meant to. They're meant for proximity, for closeness. So when her voice drops, she's not just speaking differently. She's pulling you in, reducing the distance between you without moving her body, creating a private space inside a public one. I've had moments where the entire room was loud, chaotic, but the second she started speaking slower, softer, it felt like everything narrowed, like we stepped into a different environment without changing location. That's intentional, even if she's not aware of it. And then she starts sinking. If you're calm, she slows down. If you lower your tone, she follows. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. Her nervous system tuning itself to yours. This is where most men sabotage themselves again. They stay loud, they stay fast, they stay surface level, completely missing the shift. But if you match her, or better yet, lead it, you control the tempo, and tempo controls tension. Now listen for the details. If she starts whispering when she doesn't need to, that's not about volume, that's about intimacy. Whispering forces closeness, it bypasses logic, it hits directly. It's the same tone used in the dark when there's no audience. And then there's silence. This is where weak men collapse, because silence makes them uncomfortable, so they fill it. They talk, joke, explain, ruin it. But a woman who's feeling something real, she doesn't fear silence. She uses it. She'll pause, look at you, breathe out slowly, and just stay there. No words, just presence. That pause, that's where the tension lives. That's where everything unspoken gets louder. And if you can sit in that silence without breaking, without rushing to fill it, you separate yourself instantly. Because now, you're not reacting to the moment, you're controlling it. And pay attention to her laugh. It changes from sharp, quick, polite, to slower, softer, almost breathy. Less performance, more feeling. That's the shift. That's when she stops being socially engaged and starts being personally affected. And once that happens, you're no longer just another interaction in her night. You're the one she felt. Item 7. The predatory scan. The devouring. This is the one most men feel but don't understand. And because they don't understand it, they collapse under it. Because it flips everything you've been told. You grew up hearing that you are the hunter, that you chase, you pursue, you prove yourself. But when a woman is genuinely turned on, she's not passive, she's assessing, she's selecting, she's consuming. And if you've ever felt that moment, where her eyes stop being polite and start studying you, you know exactly what I mean, because the social gaze is clean, safe, eyes to eyes, maybe a smile, nothing threatening. But this breaks the rules. She starts looking at your mouth while you're talking, not a quick glance. She lingers, watching how your lips move, and there's a shift in her expression, subtle but heavier. She's not listening to what you're saying anymore. She's imagining. And if you've ever been mid-sentence and suddenly lost your train of thought because of the way she was looking at you, that's not coincidence, that's pressure. Now here's where it gets real. The most honest version of this signal happens when she thinks you're not looking. That's when the mask drops completely. You stand up for a second, turn your head, look away, and her eyes start moving, slow, deliberate, from your shoulders to your arms, to your hands. She's not admiring you. She's evaluating strength, presence, capability. I've caught this more times than I can count. You turn back, and she snaps her gaze away like nothing happened. That quick break, that's not embarrassment. That's exposure. You just caught her in a moment she didn't plan to reveal. And in that moment, she wasn't being polite. She was imagining. Now there's a deeper layer, the undressing, This is where it becomes undeniable. Her eyes move from your face, down your body, slowly, then back up again. No rush, no apology, just a full sweep. Most men feel uncomfortable here. They laugh, they look down, they shrink. Because for the first time, they're the ones being looked at like that, and they don't know how to handle it. But this is where the dynamic flips. If you break, you fall back into the role of the one being evaluated. If you hold, you take control of the frame. So when you catch her, don't look away, don't smile nervously. Hold eye contact when she comes back up. Calm, still, like you expected it. Like you knew exactly what she was doing, because you did. That moment, it hits her, a spike, because now her desire has been seen and accepted without being exposed. You didn't call it out. You didn't make it awkward. You just matched it. And suddenly, you're not the guy trying to impress her anymore. You're the one she's trying to secure. Now step back for a second, because this is where everything connects. The hands, the flush, the neck, the eyes, the hips, the voice, the scan. Individually, you can explain them away. Maybe she's nervous. Maybe it's hot. Maybe she's just being friendly. That's how most men stay confused. They isolate signals instead of reading patterns. But when you see them cluster, 3, 4, 5 at once, that's not coincidence anymore. That's biology overriding behavior. That's raw signal. And this is why it matters. Because the moment you know, you stop guessing. And the moment you stop guessing, you stop chasing. Think about how many times you've second-guessed yourself. Does she like me? Am I reading this wrong? Should I wait? While you're stuck in your head. Another man, less hesitant, less aware but more decisive, moves, not because he's smarter, because he's not paralyzed. Now imagine removing that uncertainty. You see the signs, you know, everything changes. Your pace slows down, your voice drops. You stop performing. You stop trying to earn her attention because you realize you already have it. And this is where boys separate from men. Boys ask, "Can I kiss you? Do you want to come with me?" They need verbal permission because they're blind to everything that came before it. But the man who sees doesn't need to ask obvious questions. He reads, he calibrates, he leads, he sees the neck, he closes distance, he sees the eyes, he holds, he feels the contact, he stays grounded, he moves with certainty, not arrogance, certainty. Because here's the truth. Most people won't say out loud, "She wants you to get it." She just won't say it. Because if she says it, she loses the frame. So she communicates the only way she can, indirectly, subtly, biologically. And she's hoping you're sharp enough to understand. Because when you do, you prove something most men can't. That you're aware, that you're present, that you're in control of yourself. And that's what makes her feel safe enough to let go. You become the one who sees through the surface, the only one in the room who notices what she's actually feeling, not what she's pretending to show. And that feeling, being seen without having to explain yourself, that's addictive. But here's the part most men never reach. Reading the signs, that's awareness. That makes you different, but it doesn't make you dangerous, because a map is useless if you don't know how to move through it. Seeing the signal is power, but creating it, that's where the game really begins. What I showed you today, those signals, they're not the beginning, they're the aftermath. They're what happens when she's already crossed the line in her own mind, when the switch has already flipped, when her body has made a decision her mouth will never openly admit. That's where most men arrive too late. They see the signs and think that's the moment to start. No, that's the moment you should have already been leading. So the real question is not how do you spot it? The real question is, how do you cause it? How do you take a woman who looks at you with neutrality, politeness, maybe even mild indifference, and slowly, almost invisibly, turn that into tension, into curiosity, into that quiet shift where her body starts betraying her. Because if you've been honest with yourself, you've felt the opposite. You've been the guy trying to spark something, saying the right words, doing what you thought was correct, and nothing moved. No tension, no pull, just flat. That frustration, that's what happens when you're operating on logic, while her attraction runs on something deeper. You can't negotiate desire. You can't convince it. You either trigger it or you don't. And here's the part nobody tells you straight. It's not about being the nice guy, but it's also not about being the loud, try-hard alpha. Performing dominance. Both are reactive. Both are predictable. And predictable men don't create tension. What actually works sits in a place most men are uncomfortable with. Control without noise. Presence without validation seeking. And the ability to withdraw at the exact moment she expects you to lean in. I'll give you a real example. There was a moment I was mid-conversation with a woman. Everything flowing, she was engaged, smiling, leaning slightly forward, and right when most men would double down, talk more, push harder, I paused, looked at her, said nothing, and leaned back. Not rejection, not disinterest, just space. You could feel the shift. Her expression changed. She leaned in more, started filling the silence, started investing. That's the trigger. Not what you say, but what you withhold. Because desire grows in tension, not comfort. And most men are addicted to comfort. They over-explain, over-speak, over-give, killing the very thing they're trying to create. What you need to understand is this. Attraction is a biological response to uncertainty, presence, and contrast. It's the push and pull, the rhythm, the sense that you're not fully available, but not gone either. That's what bypasses her logic. That's what reaches the part of her that doesn't care about your job, your plans, your carefully chosen words. That's what flips the switch. So now you're at a crossroads, because seeing the signals, that already puts you ahead of most men. But it's still passive. It still makes you a watcher. And there are two types of men in this space. The ones who sit there observing, hoping, waiting for the right moment to appear. And the ones who create the moment. The difference, one lives in luck. The other operates in control. So ask yourself honestly, do you want to keep guessing? Or do you want to understand the mechanism so clearly that you can influence it? Because once you cross that line, you stop reacting to women, and women start reacting to you. Now here's the part most men never get to. In the next video, I'm going to break down how to create these signals from zero. How to take a woman from neutral to mentally hooked, without chasing, without over-talking, and without revealing your intent too early. The exact psychological sequence, the timing, the moments where most men lose control without even realizing it. If you think you understand the game now, wait until you see that. But that's tomorrow. For now, don't break the momentum. Watch the video that's appearing on your screen right now. It connects directly to what you just learned, and it will sharpen your ability to read and control these dynamics in real time. Click it. Stay in the flow. And if you made it this far, you already know this isn't surface-level content. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, leave a like. Most men will never understand the game, but you do. I'll see you among the few.